we're happy to have you with us. We look forward to getting to meet you. And I think we are ready to go. It is 5:30. And so I'm going to call this meeting to order. And we are assembled here for the City of Oxford Board of Commissioners agenda meeting. Today is Monday, May 3rd, 2021. It is 5:30 p.m., actually 5:31 now. And we are assembled here via Zoom. So I will do the roll call as is our practice. And we have Commissioner Gilreath.
Present.
And Commissioner Bridges.
Present.
Commissioner Fields.
Present.
Commissioner Curran.
Here.
The Mayor Pro Tem.
Present.
Excellent. Nice to have you here. And so we have Commissioner Bullock, who is out west, I believe, and not able to attend. And
No, he's back. He's back.
he's back.
Got, yeah, I think he has a veterans event in Roxborough this evening that he had to attend.
That's right. Thank you. I apologize for getting confused about that. And we have Commissioner Tovey, who is not able to attend. So with that, we will proceed forward to the agenda of the day, which is simply to set the agenda for next week, as we have no other business to accomplish today. So with that, everything starts in order. We have 3 delegations: the May Yard of the Month, Police Week Proclamation, and Historic Preservation Month Proclamation. We have a public hearing to receive citizen input regarding the adoption of the Unified Development Ordinance. And as you know, the vote will be postponed to 24 hours later. Does anybody have any questions on this item right now?
Mayor, are we going to adopt this at that meeting or at the hearing, public hearing?
That the intent would be to have the public hearing and then put it to a vote 24 hours later for the board. And Ms. Hart, if you have any comments you would like to make?
I'm not real familiar with it myself. I mean, it's 400 pages. Do we have any way of seeing what's been changed without studying the whole 24 pages? I mean, it took y'all 2 years to do it, and we got to approve it in a week.
That's a good point. Is it possible? So of course, I think the board has been sent multiple drafts of the document, but are, Charlie, do you want to comment on that? Because I think, you kind of created a new document, used a lot of original information that we had. Is there some way for you to do a presentation for the board?
Sure, before the public hearing next week?
Mm-hmm.
Sure, absolutely. I can basically do what I did with the joint committee with the planning board and some of the commissioners that were there was that a couple months ago. And I can just go, chapter by chapter, explain, what's changed, what's in here, just so there's an understanding of, so that everybody has an understanding of what this new document means.
Well, can we just be set what's been changed so we could look at it rather than taking over how much time it would be to go through it chapter by chapter?
Honestly, it's more difficult to try to put together a document to explain the document than it is to just explain the document, if that makes any sense. The changes are, there are some big changes to the face of the ordinance, just, what your districts are called, things like that. But most of your changes are very technical. So it's really kind of difficult to put together a document that anybody would understand.
Would it be possible for me to send the board members the planning board's minutes, which really explain your presentation?
Yeah, that's a good idea.
That would be fine with me.
Yes, sir. I'll do that shortly.
Okay, that's fine with me.
Thank you. And do we have the updated map with the issues that Lori Dutra had raised? Has that been sent back out?
Yes, that was the last one that I sent out, were those corrections.
Okay. Is it maybe possible for you to resend it to make sure? I mean, I'm certainly happy to go searching through my things, but I've been paying more attention to this, maybe to resend that also at the same time as you send the minutes from the planning board meetings, and that way the board can have that as well.
That shouldn't be a problem.
Great. Thank you very much. Any further questions, Commissioner Kern?
No, that's fine. Thank you.
Okay, does anybody else have anything that they would like to raise about this item? Okay, excellent. Then we go forward to item 5, which is to receive the proposed 2021-22 budget from the city manager and to call for a public hearing at the June board meeting. Does anybody have any questions on this item at this time?
Are we going to have another meeting?
I was wondering that. Commissioner Gilreath, are you thinking of planning another finance committee meeting?
Well, based upon comments and concerns from the last meeting, no one seemed to have had an interest or a need for it, but if there's a need, sure, we can.
I do.
Okay, we will plan another finance committee meeting.
Could I get a copy?
Go ahead.
Could I just want a copy of the proposed budget.
Oh, did you not get one?
No, I didn't.
Okay,
They
and
were
would you like a hard
emailed.
copy? Commissioner Fields, would you like a hard
In the-
copy?
Please, my printer is, I think it's on the death row and it's acting up, so please.
Okay,
Do you-
Stop laughing, Tom. Okay.
Mayor Pro Tem, did you have something to say as well?
I stated if I could get a copy, you can email mine and that'll be fine, please.
Okay, it's quite long, so if you decide that you want a hard copy, please let us know.
Okay, thank you.
Okay,
Alan, how soon would you like to deal with the budget? If we're gonna have a meeting, do you guys want to schedule it now or put some dates on and offer certain dates?
I would suggest that since we don't have the full cadre of board members here tonight, that we go forward and allow me to present it next Tuesday with the understanding that there may well be at least one more committee meeting for the Finance and Budget Committee to meet and discuss the proposed budget and have a few dates in mind when we gather next Tuesday that we can suggest or recommend and kind of handle it that way. But I would like to at least proceed to the point where we've provided the proposed budget to the board and the public, and then we can discuss when to hold another public meeting, because it is a public meeting at that time. It's right there in front of the public. If that'll work.
That's
okay. Does that, Commissioner Kern, does that work for you? And
It does.
Commissioner, it does, and of course, Commissioner Gilreath, your finance chair, it must work. Okay, does that work for you, Commissioner Gilreath?
Yes, it's fine.
Okay, great. Thank you. Okay, then we will go forward with item B, which is to consider adopting a resolution in support of the Tar River Regional Hazard Mitigation Plan. Does anybody have any questions about this item? Okay, and so I have one, and I suspect this is related to the fact that, am I correct in thinking that the county drafted the resolution and then sent it out to us because of their proposed regional, doing a regional plan?
That is correct. They drafted it and they sent it to all of the participants and eagerly waiting for us to adopt it. And of course, it is mandatory in order for us to receive federal funds.
Super, and I have absolutely no questions about that. I have a couple of questions about the wording in the document that sounds like it may be started out as a county document in the resolution, I mean. And so maybe Ms. Hart, can I, have a conversation with you about, it's just little like, well, one of them is, it says that we, the city of Oxford, have reviewed the document, but it doesn't talk anything about it doesn't, well, it says the city of Oxford has performed a comprehensive review and evaluation of each section of the previously approved plan and has updated the plan as required. That's actually not us, isn't it, the county?
Well, they've done it and we've been included in the process. We've been meeting since, I think, Alan, correct me, since January. And so we've been involved in the process.
Okay, so the city of Oxford has been involved in it.
Absolutely.
And anyway, it just seems like there could be a line in there that actually says we support merging our county's plan into the regional one, and it's not in there in the whereas part, so.
Right,
But,
and they don't have a problem with us tweaking it a little bit.
okay, so I'll maybe bring that up with you.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Okay, great, thank you. Any other questions on this item? Okay, then we move forward to item C. Consider calling for a public hearing for the June 8th regular board meeting to hear citizen input on the planned unit development referred to as Ivy Meadows, located off Ivy Day Road and North Country Club Drive. Does anybody have any questions about this item? Okay, Ms. Hart, in the attached documentation, the homeowners association agreement, it refers only to single family homes. It does not refer to townhomes in the agreement. And it also refers to Franklin County throughout the document, and that it refers to 3 tracts of land that are in Franklin County.
Right, I think they drafted this from one of their homeowners association, and they just used the Franklin County and just plugged in the information. And I'll certainly ask them to go back and review and make sure it's pertaining to Granville County.
That would be great.
City of Oxford.
And includes the townhomes.
Yes.
Great. Thank you very much. Item D, consider adopting a resolution to award retiring Captain Patricia Ford her service sidearm and credentials upon retirement, which, if you read the request, she retired last week, which is just awesome for her and sad for us. Does anybody have any questions about this item? So it's kind of a shame we won't be able to do this tour in person. Does she have Mr. Thornton, do you want to check and see? I mean, we're, obviously we can do this. Does she have any desire, if we're considering going to be in person in June, having the formal awarding of it happen in June?
We can certainly
Or
check and
present it.
see. I don't know that we haven't already done that already. And she's,
Okay,
I think she's wanting to go out with as low a profile as possible.
Okay.
Just to be flat out honest with you. So
well,
I
and that
don't know that it's, you know, a big deal to her. She's kind of wanting to step out as quietly as she can.
okay. And that is certainly her prerogative. I guess I just want to offer, for some people, presentation in City Hall is something that they cherish, and for others, obviously, but if you would maybe at least, you know, we can certainly keep this on the agenda, but if she were interested in a formal presentation in person, we would be happy to make that happen. Thank you. So is it safe to assume that the police department did something to celebrate her leaving after 24 years?
They did, in a very subdued and low key fashion, as was her request.
Okay. Okay, great. And then we get to the end, the consent agenda, accepting our finance director's April finance report and approving the April agenda and regular meeting minutes. And then you see we have a number of events, the bike rodeo downtown this coming weekend. Thursday night is the first of 8, quitting time, tapas and libations, that it is possible to support all of our downtown restaurants and wander from one place to another with small plates and treats. June 1st through the 30th, Love Local X's and O's game. I think we need to look that up to learn more about it. And June 4th, Schools Out Summer Kickoff on Little John. Do we know what that is? I don't see Mary. Do you want to explain any of these happenings?
So one thing to let you know, the May 8th bike rodeo has been rescheduled for July 15th because we did not get the helmets in that we are giving away.
Okay.
So it's had to be rescheduled. The June 4th, Schools Out for Summer will be, there'll be food truck rodeos. We're playing a throwback movie, Grease, and we will have classic cars on the street. We will be closing Little John for that June 4th event. We were approached by a classic car, and I'm saying classic cars because that's usually what's there, but there are also modern cars that they bring. But we will be hosting them on May the 6th. No, I'm sorry, May the 7th. That is the Friday. And they will be doing their first one at Little John parking lot instead of on the street, so that we are not conflicting with the Lions Club fish fry that in the past has happened at Public Works, but this year they are creating a drive-through event to pick up your fish plates on that Friday evening or Friday. I think their thing is from 10 to 6 to pick up your fish plate. So we don't want to impede their fundraising event. And so we are going into the parking lot with the cars.
That's great. And that's going to be every Friday. So you were saying that group approached you and they want to come every month?
Yes, ma'am. It's every Friday, well, not every Friday, every first Friday of the month from May to October.
That's wonderful. Great news. Can you tell us a little more about local X's and O's?
So it is a game, a bingo type game where you spend a certain amount of money, you get an X, and you spend another amount of money, you get an O. And once you get those all in a row, you put your name in and have a chance to win $300 in downtown dollars. And that's first prize. We've got 2 second prizes at, I think, $50, and then 2 at $25.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's great. And so this is by spending money in our downtown shops.
Yes, and they're listed. The game board has the businesses listed, and when you get the, and they don't have to be all X's or all O's in a row. They just have to have money spent in one of those stores in a row. It doesn't have to necessarily be all X's or all O's. We're trying to show love with our X's and O's.
That's great. Thank you very much. And lastly, I know that I failed abysmally to take a picture of myself in locations downtown with your downtown, with Oxford Matters with that sign. Is that, are you kind of done with that promotion, or are you still encouraging people to do that?
I would love for people to do that. I've only received 2. And this is part of the work that we're doing with our economic development planning, so that I have stories beyond anything that I've experienced in Oxford. All of you have been here for many, many years and have a place that matters to you. And I would love to hear that snippet of why with your picture.
Well, part of the rules I saw had a time frame there. Are we still respecting that time frame?
For the,
It's,
it matters.
yeah, it matters.
No,
And-
ma'am, because I haven't received but 2 pictures. I would
Okay.
I would like to extend that. We have not finalized our committee yet. But these stories will be important as we begin that work with the Main Street group.
Okay. Because mom was out at Lake Devon walking,
Awesome.
but that's not downtown.
Oh, that doesn't have to be downtown. It is around all of Oxford. What matters to you? Because this economic development work will be for all of Oxford, not just downtown. Downtown will have a piece, but it's only a piece of the whole puzzle. This is what in Oxford matters to you.
Okay.
Excellent. Thank you, Mary. And great. Okay. Then with that, we'll move on to any comments from board members.
Well, I
Mayor
have some
Pro-
questions for Ms.
Oh, yes,
Shawn.
sir. Please jump in.
Yeah, what are downtown dollars? I mean, does that mean that the money is play money that can only be used downtown, or is it real money and you're supposed to use it downtown?
Okay, so it is a certificate for
Okay.
cash. So you can spend it. There's a letter that goes with it. And there are window clings in the businesses that will accept these. And when they're in $5 and $10 increments. When that money is spent, I go and I take them the physical cash.
Oh, okay.
When you spend the money, if you spend $10 or your bill is $8 and you have a $10 gift certificate or downtown dollars, you can't get cash back for that. But I give the merchant the full $10 amount.
Okay. So Ms. Shawn, did you want each of the commissioners to, in terms of what matters, you want us to just pick a business in the downtown area and take a picture of us, like do a selfie kind of thing? Is that what you're looking for?
A selfie, and again, it doesn't have to be downtown. It needs to
Okay.
be that place that means something to you and why, and then a snippet of why it means something to you. I've received several from Mary Potter alumni
Uh-huh.
because that space, that place matters to them. And then there's a reason why. So I've received a couple of those. And for you, it could very well be the courthouse. I don't know, but
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Last but not least, do we have any update on the oh Lord, the flags or the banners that we're gonna have? Because I know we looked at some samples, and I thought y'all were gonna do some adjusting, but or is that pretty much the same?
so the design was approved as it was presented. We did go back and speak to the graphic designers about trying to find a graphic for Explore, a universal graphic. And the thing that came up with were binoculars, which did not necessarily fit, or a
I
compass.
think that's what I said. Binoculars.
And looking at the graphic when they added it, everything else had to be so condensed thin
Yeah. Yeah.
that it made it difficult to actually be able to see from a driving car, with that not being a universal additional graphic. So they
Okay.
have ordered. I can give you that update as well.
Okay,
Thank you.
excellent. So with that, I'm going to go take it to Mayor Pro Tem, who was briefly bounced, but he's back on with us. And so Mayor Pro Tem, we've just been spending, I'm not sure how long ago, were you here for when we approved the consent agenda?
I was, yes.
Okay, so then we've just been talking about the items. Mary was giving us a little more information about the items. So is there anything that you would like to bring up tonight?
Just one question for Ms. Cheek in the Recreation Department. I saw on the news where there was a chlorine shortage this year. And I was wondering, would that affect Oxford in any way?
We'll have to see. We do have chlorine from last year left over to get us started. But then after that, we'll just have to see kind of how that continues. We have about a 200-gallon tank in our pump room. So we're good to go to start, but we're going to go ahead and try to get our order in so we're in line.
Okay. Okay. I found that to be very interesting last night when I saw that.
It is interesting, the things that we are having shortages of. So, but that one surprised me a little bit. So,
Yes, especially my Supremes from Bojangles. But thank you so much.
Went from toilet paper to chicken to chlorine.
Yes, yeah. But I want my Supremes back.
You know, it's amazing the number of things that we take for granted and we never think about until it's like discovering those muscles we didn't know we had until we hurt them. Okay, is that it for you, Mayor Pro Tem?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, you bet. Then starting up next to my left, Commissioner Gilreath.
I was curious for follow-up regarding coronavirus monies that I thought we had already earmarked. And I asked the question at the last meeting regarding the grant administrator and what we did with ACIM.
So Ms. Hart, there you are. I'm sorry, you moved around on my screen. So I think, Commissioner, you're asking for a little clarification about the money that's paying for the grant administrator and the money that's paying for ACIM? Is that what your question is?
Yes, just wanted to find out what pot of money did it come out of, and has it been paid? Or has it been earned, or whatever the plan is for it?
Yes, ma'am. The plan is for us to work with ACIM and getting people qualified, as well as the grant administrator. And as of right now, we cannot do anything. We're on hold until the state releases the funds. So as of right now, nothing has been spent and nothing can be spent until they release those funds. And we filed everything that they've asked for. Sometimes they've asked for things more than once, and which is understandable because they're working remotely. Our grant administrator, she's got about 14, 15 other communities that she's working with. And just last week, I requested a startup virtual meeting, which is required. So right now we're just on hold until they can release the funds to us. So nothing has been spent.
And is it safe to clarify for you, Commissioner, that you want to know where that money is coming from? And that money is coming out of the $900,000 grant award. So that, if I recall correctly, 810,000 has been reserved for distribution according to the guidelines of the grant, and then a remaining 90 reserved for the administrator and any other expenses related to the cost of administering and dispersing the funds. Am I correct on that, Ms. Hart?
Yes, and when we were adopting all these policies, resolutions, and in previous meetings, we did include a budget ordinance with those documents.
Commissioner, does that answer your question, or do you have some follow-ups?
No, I was just concerned that I was so confused at our last meeting and didn't understand why I couldn't get the answer then. But that's what I thought we were doing. I'm good. I was just.
Okay, excellent. Thank you very much. So is that it for you tonight?
Yes.
Okay, Commissioner Bridges?
Yeah, speaking of being confused, no. I have a special request of our city clerk, Ms. Bowen. I need someone to go back and look at the minutes, whether it was 2012 or whatever year it was, that we as a board made a determination of how much money we were going to put into a pot for the pool. We've been talking about it. We've had different numbers to come out, and I just want to clarify it. I think that the commissioner who made the motion was Commissioner Herring. And we voted on it, and it passed that we would take 10,000, I'm thinking $10,000 out of our budget and put it into a pot for the swimming pool. I'm tired of speculation, and I want the amount of money that should be in it by now to be earmarked for our pool. Now, when we do the pool or whether we're going to do the pool is another issue. But I do think that we need to stick with what we agreed to some years ago about monies being taken and placed into a pot for the pool. And I think part of the problem was we weren't taking it out of our budget and putting it anywhere. And I think for it to sort of stay out there, sort of in the air, is just problematic for me, because I figure that when there's some new board members on this board, that they'll be wondering what we did, and I just think we ought to settle it, and do what we voted on. And I don't know what year it was. Maybe Ms. Bowen knows, but I know we agreed that we put some money in a pot for a pool.
Okay,
Yeah, I've already started on that. So I've already
Excellent.
started pulling minutes on that.
Commissioner Bridget, it was 12. It was my first year on the board.
It was 2012.
Yes.
Okay, all right. Thank you, Ms. Bourne. I'm glad that you were already doing. I was hoping you were doing.
that's great. Thank you. And Commissioner Fields, I'm truly impressed with your memory that you can remember when, because mine, I remember many things, but they are not automatically precisely at the time when they happen. So I'm quite impressed. Commissioner Bridges, did you have anything else that you wanted to bring up, or is that it?
That is it.
Okay, thank you. Then Commissioner Fields, anything you would like to bring up?
That's good, gray matter for today. Now check me tomorrow, it may be different. I had a citizen that lives on, oh God, short-term gun. The little street right off of Raleigh Street, when you turn where Dr. Colson's office used to be. Cheryl, what's the name of that street?
Green Street.
Green Street. They got concerned about children and playing there, and they were wondering if there was any way we could consider putting a speed bump there. Because they said the people that live there know the street, but people that don't come through quite speedily. And it's not a big street, and there's not a lot of area. When I was over there Friday, children were having a ball riding the bicycles. There's no curbing and shoulders, so they want something just to deter the speeders.
Is that something, Mr. Thornton, that you can get our police chief and his staff to take a look at?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay, great. And I think I brought it up with you, and I know I mentioned it to the chief that I've seen, and I've mentioned it before to this group, that I've seen in Europe where they do speed bumps that are in the center of the road. And they are, if you're driving in a road where you're required to be on the right side, at least two of your wheels will hit the speed bump. But if you are an emergency vehicle that can drive down the center of the road, you can straddle the speed bumps because they're narrower than the axle. So again, we seem to get so many requests to slow down speeders. I don't know if it just goes in cycles or if people are just getting worse, because we're having awful lot of complaints on Raleigh Street. Whether we could consider looking at creatively something that is more sustainable than just sending people out periodically to police it. Was that it, Commissioner Fields?
That was it. That was it, Mayor. That was all.
Okay, excellent. Commissioner Curran.
Well, since we're talking about speed, numerous times I've asked for the speed monitor to be put on this street over here, and it's been ignored every time. So let me ask that again. Hunters Road between, I think it's Rabbit Run and Royal. I've asked, I don't know how many times. Hasn't been done. So let me ask one more time if that can be done. Second thing, when we get our April staff report on the turnover, could we also get January and February? We didn't get it last time. And the only other thing, I have not met our public works director yet. I gave him a call last week. Somebody called me about a drainage problem, so I gave him the name. The next day, that lady replied to me, she had already heard from me. So that's great to know somebody returns their calls. And that's all I got.
Thank you. And thank you, Mr. Blasco. That's awesome. Okay, Mr. Thornton, do you have anything else that you would like to bring up?
No, I don't believe so at this time.
Okay, Mr. Burnett.
No, ma'am, I don't have anything.
Okay, it's good to see you tonight. I don't think I greeted you earlier. Hang on, let me plug in my computer before it dies. Okay, well then I think we are good to go then. If there is no other business, then do we have a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Motion.
Okay, we got a double motion from Commissioners Field and Kern. Any discussion? Okay, then I'll do the roll call, starting with Mayor Pro Tem.
Yes.
Commissioner Gilreath,
Yes.
Commissioner Bridges,
Yes.
Commissioner Fields,
Yes.
Commissioner Curran.
Yes.
Okay, excellent. I want to thank all of y'all for being here tonight. Wish you a happy and safe rest of your evening and a good week, and stay cool. Okay, thanks
Good
so
night,
much.
all.
Take care.
Good night.
Good night.